the neurological development of the human being and how stimulated it is and how active it is and how balanced it is in many ways directly related to the phases of the moon, and there are very many ways in which people can make use of it.
In the morning you get up and you be in a certain way, you create a certain quality in you so that by evening that quality is enhanced. The situation may be conducive for you also to rise, probably, if you are willing to make use of it.
It's a night of great possibilities, it is not to be missed. Approximately 7 to 8 planets and the moon and the sun together have a significant influence on the making of life on this planet. This is how it is seen. In this, the sun, moon and the planet has the maximum impact. As you might have seen images, Adi Yogi, the first yogi, wears moon, a crescent moon, upon his head like a jewel. This is to indicate that he is at the highest level of perception, because human perception and moon are very connected. Well, today in terms of medical terms, we may see it as there is a certain level of neurological stimulus. When I say neurological stimulus, why I'm talking about this is, see, as in the evolutionary process of life on this planet, of all the things, we are not the strongest creature on this planet, but we have the most complex and sophisticated neurological system. That's what renders us as really on top of the pile of the evolutionary system. So this neurological development is the most significant aspect of who we are. And the neurological development of the human being and how stimulated it is and how active it is and how balanced it is in many ways directly related to the phases of the moon, and there are very many ways in which people can make use of it. Well, it is not the moonlight alone, it is a whole… today people are talking in scientific terms of electrical charges, electromagnetic impact and other things. Well, I don't want to talk about it, that I'm not an expert in that, but in the yogic system, full moon and new moon days, those 2 days there are different types of practices we do. Ascetics usually do practices during new moon days. People in the family way of life, they will do all their practices during the full moon night because the impact is very different.
After all, moon is a satellite for this planet and helplessly strung to this planet and making its rounds. So what is the significance? Why these full moons and no moons are held significant? Probably many of you know that someone is mentally disturbed on a full moon day, on a new moon day, they get little more disturbed than usual. You're aware of this? So, it doesn't happen to you, but it does happen to somebody. So it is not that moon instigates madness, it is just that when the moon takes certain positions, it heightens whatever you are. If you are loving, you become more loving. If you are joyful, you become more joyful. If you are blissful, you become much more blissful. If you're a little insane, you become much more insane. If you're meditative, you become far more meditative. It just enhances everything that you are. So we consider these days important so that you consciously create the right kind of quality in you so that it gets enhanced. Today is Paurnami, in the morning you get up and you be in a certain way, you create a certain quality in you so that by evening that quality is enhanced. So whatever the qualities that you are, so that you start engineering it more consciously than being a victim of unconscious eruptions within yourself. So the moon does not make you mad or meditative, it just enhances whatever you are. You know, even the ocean goes mad. The very ocean is trying to rise. When the very ocean is trying to rise, the situation may be conducive for you also to rise, probably, if you are willing to make use of it. And moon's influence on human life is far more than that. To do anything with yourself, to be aware where the moon is could be useful, because it creates different types of qualities and energies in the system. If one is aware, he could make use of it. So the moon, today being a full moon, the clouds are hiding it, but don't worry. Whether you can see it or not, the influence of the moon is very much there. Because on a no moon day or a new moon day, the influence of the moon is far more than on the full moon day. So whether you perceive something or do not perceive something is not the issue, the influence is anyway there. There is a logical element to you which helps you to handle the material well. There's a dimension beyond logic. Without it, the subjective dimensions can never be accessed. The moon is a symbolic representation of that dimension. So generally, the influence of the moon is considered illogical. Anything illogical, generally in the West got labeled as madness or insanity. But here, we always saw the limitations of logic. Logic is very useful to conduct the material aspect of your life. If you want to do your business, you want to build a house, you want to do all the things in the world, you have to be logical, there is no other way to conduct it. This is the problem with us. To conduct the outside, we call the divine. To conduct the inward, we try to go at it logically. Both won't work for us. So, when it comes to subjective dimensions of life, if you're not willing to step beyond the limitations of your logic, then nothing ever will happen. If anything beautiful has to touch you in your life, if meditation has to touch you, if love has to touch you, if bliss has to touch you, you must be illogical. Everything is logically correct, but you have a long face because everything is correct with you. You're correct, but life doesn't work like that. So the logical dimension of life and the experiential possibility of who you are diametrically opposite. So in yoga, we look at you as two aspects, the sun and the moon. You've seen the symbolism? You've heard of the word hatha, hatha yoga? Hatha means ha, means sun, tha means moon. So these are the two dimensions. There are various symbolisms for this. You have seen Shiva being represented as half man, half woman, all these things to suggest there is a logical dimension to you and there's a dimension beyond that. If you do not explore both, you will be an incomplete human being.
The full moon means many things to many people. For some people, the word moon or soma means intoxication. For some it suggests pleasure. For some it means romance. For some it means celebration. For a seeker, it means a night of great possibility, a day many beings have attained. It's a night of great possibilities, it is not to be missed.